All right. It is October 27th, 2025. The Mercer County Board of Education is in session. We are late and running late. We had some disciplinary hearings earlier and they ran late. So we are ready to start now. We are sorry to anybody that logged in and wanted to watch the calendar. It is now set up and ready to go. Ms. Harrison will present in just a minute. I've got to do my other few things here real quickly, so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance real quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Let's talk about the calendar.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you're here for the calendar public hearing. Please make sure you sign the sign-in sheet. That is part of public record. The first thing I'm going to start out with is every year I put out a survey on social media for family members, parents, community members to give their input. And I ask employees the very same thing. So what I'm going to show you first are the results of those surveys, and you'll see that the community and our employees are pretty much in line. The first question was, when should the school year begin? And I gave them 4 choices, and as you can see, parents and community, 81% want the latest possible start date of August 24th. And employees said the same thing. It was a little bit more split, but still the majority went for the week of August the 24th. I asked about Thanksgiving break. Families, of course, overwhelmingly said a full week. So did employees. The next question was about spring break, whether it should be a full week or just Good Friday or Good Friday and the Monday after. And overwhelmingly, parents and community members want the full week, and so do employees. Then I asked about the non-traditional Reimagine days, where we can apply for up to 5, and 5 is the limit that we're allowed to use. Parents, 93% said yes, that we do need to utilize those whenever possible, and so do employees. So it looks like employees and families are kind of the same mind for both of these things, for all of these things rather. The next thing I want to show you is a short video that will explain some of our calendar requirements as written in law. The West Virginia legislature determines what should be in our calendar. And I'm going to go ahead and start that now.
Our school calendar is more than just dates on a page. It's a plan that balances learning, work, and family time, while also preparing for the unexpected. By law, students must have 180 instructional days each year over 48 consecutive weeks. Our staff has 200 working days, which include not only teaching, but also days for professional development and preparing schools for the year ahead. At the start and end of the school year, employees have CD days, curriculum and development days, and P days, which are teacher prep days for opening and closing school. These help make sure classrooms and lessons are ready when students walk through the door. We also mark important points along the way, like the 90th instructional day for the end of first semester, and making sure seniors complete at least 175 days before graduation. Because we live in southern West Virginia, we know snow days are part of life. That's why Mercer County Schools always built in 6 OS days, out-of-school days set aside for inclement weather. If we use all 6, then we have to add days back in to meet the 180-day requirement. That could mean trimming spring break or extending the school year into June. We've also found creative ways to make the calendar work for both students and staff. Every school day is extended by at least 30 minutes. Those extra minutes add up and allow us to set aside full days during the year for faculty senate, staff meetings, and collaboration. On top of that, we have 5 Reimagine days. These are non-traditional learning days we can use if the roads are too icy or snowy for buses, but still safe enough for staff to arrive on a 2-hour delay. On those days, students receive instruction at home through Teams. But if conditions aren't safe even for staff, then it becomes a regular snow day, and that day will be made up later. So here's the big question we always get. Why can't school start after Labor Day and end by Memorial Day? Well, technically it could, but to fit in the full 180 days, we have to cut breaks down to almost nothing. And if winter weather is especially tough, we'd end up pushing school well into June anyway. When you add it all together, our calendar balances learning time for students, planning and growth for staff, and flexibility for families, while making sure Mercer County Schools meets all state requirements and keeps students moving forward, no matter the weather.
Are there any questions? Comments? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I like your avatar. I like your avatar. I did, except you don't have your hair up like that. All right. We don't have any board recognitions this evening? Don't think. Do we have one?
They would have asked to move to the next.
Well, we'll do that. That's fine. Let's see here. Oh, the young man that, yeah, dominated. That's great. Okay, so superintendent's recommendation or comments.
Yes, sir, President Purdy. I just wanted to give you a few things that we put together, and I thank Dr. Bowling for her help organizing some of this. LSIC wish list, per your all's request, that's in there attached. There's some things talking about, check to make sure the LSIC minutes are posted and all that, but all the things that they requested, put that in there, so if you have a board workshop, you have that information to you also.
If we have any money.
A lot of requests. Also, next Tuesday, 11 a.m. is the needs project presentation that we presented last year. So we have that at 11 a.m. and wanted to share that with you. Also, next Wednesday, we have Mike McClanahan. We have the small group session from our last large group, and that will be at the central office, and it's 8, 9, and 10. And that would be completing number of the 4th session. Also, just for your consideration, I think I do this every year since I've been here, but to look at November and December, if we could possibly have one board meeting. And that's the week of, just during the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas, that week, I think, in December. And I just, that's discussing with some of our team members of what we could do that way. So just want to share that. Also in the back is a packet from, I received at the Mariah Cummings, the School Financial Operation Officer from the Office of School Finance, the West Virginia Department of Ed, got a packet there. It's very interesting. Mrs. Wellman will also add some of her, in her presentation too, but I presented you with the PowerPoint, some of the comp numbers, and the opening letter that he gave us, and he went over that at our WVASA meeting last Thursday. I want to share that with you all. And that's all I have, and I have Mrs. Wellman next to give you a financial update.
Well, let's see.
Could I ask a question on yours?
Sir, yes.
All the schools weren't represented on things they want. Did they not want anything?
We're not?
All right. I looked at it twice and couldn't find anything. Okay. I'll look again.
Gotcha, thank you. You shocked me on that, I thought so too, so yes, thank you.
Here it is right here.
Oh, vegan.
No,
Oh,
it's a
the
white
Gideon.
one.
Oh, I read that big one.
I'm kind of going through, so we don't have any citizens input, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's do, the financial statements are fine now. That'll work.
Good. Ms. Wellman?
Good evening. Dr. Adkins passed out two different packets, one with a green cover sheet, one with pink. I'd like to start with the green, which is the actual financial statements that we present. These are These are required by GASB and are somewhat complicated, so I did present those as required. If you have any questions upon reviewing those, I'll be happy to discuss those with you. What I find most beneficial is just basically a profit and loss statement and our balance sheet and assets to discuss those with you. And that begins on page 6 of the green packet. And what I would like to do is, Jordan, Lauren, and I, so that you do not have to listen to me, and so that you can realize the significant amount of work that both of them do as well, we'd like to split this up and address the pink packet next. As we go through page 6, 7, and 8, these, we just tried to break them down so that we could better understand what our revenues and expenses are. So in total last year, our revenues, if you're in the, I'm in the pink packet now, page 1, our total revenues last year were $158 million. And we do have a breakdown here, and I'm going to turn it over to Jordan and let her discuss the revenues for FY25.
So on the second page, it gives you the breakdown of that $158.8 million. There was $15.4 million in Mercer County property taxes, $18.6 million or 11.7% was our excess levy collections. We had $76.7 million in state aid, $4.4 million in grants. Those include like our CTE grants, all of those, different state grants, community and local grants as well. We had $7.8 million from SBA for Timberwood. We had $19.8 million in our federal programs, $9.1 million in the ESSER funds, which we did finish those out this year, and then $7.1 million in other income, which includes things like interest, our P card rebates that we get quarterly, and then any type of revenue that the schools get, like fundraisers, sports, donations, those types of things. For our bank reconciliations for the year, we ended with a reconciled cash balance of $5,618,567.69. Our investments in total were $56,713,975.76 for a total of $62,332,543.45 in a liquid cash state. With our investments this year, we were able to move an additional $9.75 million to the state investment pool, which is getting this year an average of 5.47% interest. The total interest that we earned for the year was $2,564,655.42, which was $391,229 more than the previous year due to the state investment pool. Their interest rate did increase. I think it was about 4.75 last year, and beginning in July of 2024, which is the beginning of this fiscal year, it went up to 5.47%. So in total, we had an investment growth of $12,314 and $314,655. And then the next page with the graph, it just gives a breakdown with percentages that we had. 30% of our revenue was operating grants and contributions. We had 5% of unrestricted grants. 1% was the investment earnings, 31% in property taxes, and 33% in unrestricted state aid.
So as you look at page 4, this is going to be a breakdown of your expenditures for every fund that we have, and it's going to go based even further based on instruction, supporting services or support services, food service, community service. Again, based on every fund, and then the pie chart is going to show you on page 5 just by function code. But the biggest one that we want to show is on page 6, and this is going to give you a better breakdown of what's on page 4. Whenever you look at our total expenditures for Fund or for fiscal year '25, we had $155.3 million worth of expenditures. And of that, $101.1 million was nothing but salary and benefits. So 65% of our expenditures were salary and benefits for fiscal year '25. Out of that, $20.7 million was spent on construction projects. And there were 21 construction projects in fiscal year '25 that were done in Mercer County. So if we removed those construction projects out of those expenditures, we spend approximately 75% of all of expenditures for just salary and benefits in Mercer County. Also, out of that $155 million, we spent $87 million, or approximately 56%, just in instruction for students. $8.6 million, or 49% of that, or 49% of fiscal year '25 was out of the excess levy revenue was spent on instruction. We also spent $9.3 million in child nutrition, and that was pretty much the same as fiscal year '24. We spent $9.27 million in fiscal year '24. And in '25, we had a lot of equipment upgrades. Food service, with child nutrition, the cost of food really did increase in '25, but we had a lot of equipment that was also purchased in '25. So we really food service did a good job of keeping everything pretty much flat, and we also used a lot of grant funding for fiscal year '25. Transportation, we spent $7.2 million. In fiscal year '24, we spent $8.3 million. So there was a big cut in expenses in transportation for fiscal year '25. We spent $4.3 million in utilities, $1.5 million in textbooks and software, and again, 75%, if you take out those construction costs, were just for instruction. But just these expenses that we talked about were approximately 85% of the total expenses for fiscal year '25.
FY '25 was the last year of the excess levy that was run in '21. So I just prepared a recap of total expenditures by category for FY '25. And Lauren really broke those up, but again, primarily salaries for professionals, service, and subs. And then our fringe benefits, of course, were our dental and vision plans. We also changed, virtual, so we have Alt Ed. The virtual expense is paid for our levy as well, and that was $915,000. Maintenance and renovation and utility costs were high. Those are always some of our largest expenditures as well. So in total, what I also wanted to point out here is that the original levy call was $12.9, almost $13 million a year. However, what we actually received exceeded that by almost $20 million. We collected $82 million versus the $64.8 million you see in the far right corner.
That's over a 5-year period.
That is over a 5-year period, exactly. For fiscal year '25, we recognized $18.6 million, the $18,562 there in the first column. So 18.56 versus the 12.9 that was initially projected. And needless to say, that helped cover a tremendous amount of expenses for us. I will also point out that the Supplemental Improvement Fund, that is the transfer that we make to our capital improvements fund for capital projects. That is normally $552,000. You'll see that was $2.6 million. The additional revenue that we had, we went ahead and moved that over to Fund 51. We know that we have several big projects, McTech, we have Straley Mercer, we have several different things on our CEFP, so that extra fund, those extra funds were transferred to Fund 51 for use on our facilities. The next thing I would like to do is,
Can I ask a question? before we move on?
absolutely,
So under cumulative levy expenses, am I reading that correctly, that we spent more than we brought in?
we did. There were
Okay.
some carryover in that fund, and we still have a fund balance of $2.4 million in that fund as well.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope, no worries. The next thing I would like to do is go back to your green packet and on page 7. This is our balance sheet that shows how our fund balances are after the year end. Did we have excess carryover? How much did we have cumulatively available for primarily our construction projects? At the bottom, you'll see a red, actually, everyone but Mr. Godfrey will see a red box around those numbers. But if you will see, there is a box around Fund 41 and 51. It's $5.5 million and $12.8 million. Those are the cumulative funds that we have available for construction right now. We know in Fund 51, we've already designated the $4 million for McTech. So in addition to that, we have the $12.8 million now in Fund 51.
In addition to that,
In addition to that,
so the 4 million is not part of that 12.
correct. However,
There's always a however.
going back to page 8, there's a future obligation of the Mercer County Board of Education. And I know that everything that we've done is fiscally responsible and legal. One of the reasons that our investments are so high is we do have some lease purchase agreements. We still have a QZAP for Mountain Valley, and we still have the energy savings project that we have. What I wanted to do is show you that we do have approximately $11 million within the next 10 or so years that we are going to have to pay. Right now, my recommendation is we keep these loans available, and we are making more interest than we are paying interest. However, should interest rates drop, my recommendation would be that we pay off some of these balances so that we are not paying more interest than we're earning. So I wanted to point that out to you. It is available. However, within the next 5 years, we're going to be paying $6.5 million towards these lease purchase agreements and the QZAB and the energy savings contract that we did.
So remind everybody that might be watching the difference between the permanent improvement fund and the capital projects fund.
Okay. The permanent improvement fund is literally a permanent improvement fund. Those funds are designated, placed in that fund. They cannot be used for anything further other than construction or on our facilities. We legally cannot touch those funds for anything else. The capital projects funds, however, we put that money there to let you know, to let us know, this is how much we have available for capital projects funds. It could be transferred out and used for something else as well. We do pay all of these lease payments from these two accounts as well. The energy savings contract, we always pay out of Fund 41, the Permanent Improvement Fund. We transfer $550,000 every year from our levy, that's in our levy call, over to that fund to help with those payments as well.
Does that cover the payments? Or do they exceed what we?
It exceeds what we have there. However, we do book the interest for that in those funds as well. So between the interest and the transfer that we have from the excess levy, those do make those payments.
So when we find real estate for, I'm just going to call it Princeton Intermediate right now, I hope we can do better than that, but let's say we call it Princeton Intermediate. The Fund 51 is where we get the matching funds for the SDA.
Yes, that's exactly it. We have about $1 million that we could pay out of Fund 41. However, again, we have those lease payments that have to come out of there as well. So Fund 51 is where we would pay for any property acquisition or construction.
Good.
Questions on that? I included the state formula and funding for personnel as well to remind you where we were last year. We were over about 91 last year. So all of these, and again, it's not fully funded because we do have openings and people in and out. However, we were over formula and still had about a $2 million carryover that we put in Fund 51. These are unaudited. There's no action required. We just presented these to you. We are in the midst of our annual audit. The auditors will be here the 12th and 13th to wrap that up. And in the spring, we hope in January, February, we'll have our audit back and we'll present the final numbers to you as well.
So what gets presented to the state that we're required to get there every year? Is this what this is?
Yes, this was already submitted to the state by September 30th, 29th. And it's been published in the paper as well. I will also like to go on record and say that BDT did make a publication error. They left off one page of our expenditures on the first day that it was published. So at no charge, they published the complete set the final day. We did have someone in the public leave a message. I was actually, I think, here that day, and they left a message that they had picked it up. They left off like the A through G of our expenditures, but that was published the next day at BDT's expense.
Questions, board members? I would just comment on the efficiency of what you do, when you're spending the public's money, the conservative nature that you hold it in is always a good thing, so we don't get caught up in a financial problem down the road. I mean, I like the fact that you're looking not just a year ahead, but 5 years ahead. That really helps us
Okay.
maintain our fiscal responsibility, because the reality of it is far too often, and they're typically smaller counties than us that get in trouble with finances because they're not looking ahead. It's like, what can we do this year? Yeah, we want to build that, or we want to spend money on this, and it's always good to have someone going, well, you can, but then if we don't listen, that's on us, right?
Yeah, this analysis packet is very helpful.
It is.
And the pie charts are good visualization, so thank you guys for putting this together.
I will, again, thank you all for allowing us to kind of revamp the professional accountants, Lauren and Jordan, and our team. We're I feel very strong. And several times the state will say, has told us that they really like the way we all work together, that they actually have used us as examples of how well a finance and business department and personnel department can work together. So we appreciate that greatly. Having folks who understand and can help assist has really streamlined the process.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work. All of you.
Yes.
Thank you, resident team. And also, we have some 23, 22. Are we ready for that?
Yes, we are ready to move on to 23,
Ms.
22.
Mitchell, Dr. Atkins, just want to grab the mic first.
Yes, sir. We just have I just have a couple of things. We did have our federal programs monitoring today from the State Department. We had individuals down. Today they reviewed, and this is something we've been preparing for the last few months, reviewed titles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They also monitored McKinney-Vento and CSI for the last designation today as well. And I do want to, for the record, thank Rhonda Rogers, Pam Clark, and Amber Wright for their hard work on the federal part, Lauren Crook and Leslie Wellman behind me for participating today as well. And Lauren did lots and lots of uploading, and our ESM program is, I think, advanced and has increased efficiency, but it is new for a lot of people, so did have to pull Leslie off the bench to come in and explain that. She did an incredible job. Amy
And then
Harrison.
also, right, from the State Department that was there, right?
Yes, sir.
For them. Yes. Good
Yes,
job.
sir. Amy Harrison did a great job. Mandy Aliff, Alicia Crawford, Dr. Philippek, and I apologize if I've left anyone out, but had a great team before and during. And as with any monitoring, we have follow-up documentation and things to do, but we do feel like that the end result will be a very positive monitoring of all things federal programs. Any questions about that?
Members?
And we will bring, of course, the report. They said they hope to have it by the middle of November. We have a week or so to provide additional documentation and answer questions, but just very proud of the team and impressed by the quality of what they do every day. Also, just wanted to mention real quickly that we do have our grade level PD and PLCs for elementary, and that's grades pre-K through 5, and then Bluefield Middle on November the 4th. That's a Tuesday, 3:30 to 5:30. Pre-Ks at Bluefield Primary, and then K1 will be here, 2-3 at Princeton Primary, and 4-5 at Mountain Valley. So the K5 will be focused on teaching math with confidence, and our math team has prepared that with Kim Yaya and Katie Carter and Shelley Weiss also collaborating and supporting that, and then Amber Rife and Emily Smith will be working with the pre-K. And then we offer the same things at Bluefield Middle as a middle school, Title I funded school. So they'll be doing math there as well, but you are always welcome to attend those professional developments. Questions?
Any questions for Dr. Atkins? Mrs. Mitchell?
We've been pretty productive in the last month as well with school starting back. We, as a team for secondary, have decided this year that we are going to mimic some of the same goals. They all had two that they could choose on their own with leadership and with student support. But we looked at attendance and we looked at test scores and have implemented so that we're all working toward the same common goals there. The LSICs at the secondary level have had to report in as to who all is on their committee now and how often they're meeting and how often they're looking at the strategic plan, that they have to keep it fluid and not just something that they look at the beginning of the year and put aside. I have 4 schools that actually fall under the department's additional target support and improvement or alternative teaching strategies. So we have set schedules with the principals of the middle schools and the high schools to go in and do these instructional rounds that we've been doing. We're training the teachers on how to do that and the principals. Excuse me. Professional development that we're using that we did for the last Faculty Senate Day. We had Weston Kieschnick here, and he met with the cohort, hearing all kinds of good reviews from teachers around the county who have said they were able to take that and go with it the very next day. They're ready to use it. And one of the big things right now that we are looking at is the attendance and the chronic absences. And so with Russell Lippincott and Amanda Aliff and Donna Brown, we will be meeting monthly and going over the attendance and where we are. We do know that when Russell went to Miss Farmer at the Tech Center and they went through those, we went from a 20% chronic absence to a 6% when we located where these students were. So he is now scheduled to meet with each principal individually and a counselor so that we can get that taken care of in the school. So we should be far better than we were. That was identifying students that had enrolled in another county and we were notified, or?
No, it goes back to the tech ed and the home school when they made the Mercer County Tech Ed as its own school, and we had to start doing, that's when it all started. We had to start doing our own attendance. And what happens is you have a student who maybe has gone on a field trip with, and I'll just use Princeton, for example. They've gone on a field trip, so they didn't come to the tech center, so they were absent here. And they were marked as absent, but they were really on a school-related activity. So, and it takes a little bit of time, but if we can get that straightened up and they stay on top of it, that won't be nearly as difficult as it has been. So that's probably one of our biggest, as far as in the last couple of weeks or so that we've done, that I'm real pleased with.
Got all?
Anybody else?
That's all, unless you.
22, anyone else, anything? Anderson, this is in 23, 22, but hit them up with what, we got a visitor coming up.
We
if you don't-
found out today that the new WVU president, Dr. Benson, that the new WVU president, Dr. Benson, and Dr. Patrice Harris, who is on the board for WVU and is a Bluefield High School graduate, they are coming to visit Bluefield High School on Monday. That's November the 3rd, and at 1:30. So you're welcome to attend. They're going to speak to the students, allow the students to ask them some questions, and it's going to be a good day.
Thank you. That's it, President Stoops.
Awesome. All right, we'll jump into our business now. Approval of the minutes of the October 10, October 13, October 15, October 16, and October 20 meeting. Yes, we meet a lot. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Question, comments, additions, deletions, corrections? There appear to be none. On the motion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. That motion carries 4 in favor and none opposed. Consent agenda. Board Amendment number 175 is a proclamation for American Education Week. It's been declared American Education Week by NEA, and let's see here, don't do that. There we go. It's the 104th annual celebration. So let me read the superintendent recommends we adopt this proclamation. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they teachers, administrators, support professionals, or substitute educators, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders and elected officials in a common enterprise. Now therefore, I, Gregory S. Prudish, serving as President of the Mercer County Board of Education, do hereby declare November 17th, 2025 is the 104th annual observance of American Education Week, signed the 27th day of October 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
Move we approve.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Oh,
Oh, that's right.
burning right along,
None of
man.
us caught that.
Moving right along here, okay. Board Amendment number 176 is the requesting, Bluefield State University is requesting a list of student teachers be placed in Mercer County for year-long residency 1 and 2 for the spring semester 2026. Placements are always, as always, contingent upon the appropriate forms, receipt of an acceptable background check, and the university naming a site supervisor. Superintendent recommends approval. Board Amendment number 177 is payment of invoices for the month of October. List of vendors and available for review on your surface. Actual checks have been written or being held pending consideration by the school board. Checks will be issued upon school board approval. Board Amendment number 178, which is the last action item on the consent agenda, is the P-card transactions attached for your approval. Superintendent recommends approval. Now, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move we approve. Second.
There's a motion and a
Pick
second.
one.
Questions, comments, or discussion? Then on the motion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. That motion carries 4 in favor and none opposed. All right. Under additional business, Board Amendment number 179 is Live to Lead Community Partner. Mike McClanahan has selected Mercer County Schools to be a community partner in Live to Lead event. It connects powerful ideas with people who need them the most. It is in our community this year, and it will gather business professionals, community leaders, and change makers for a day of insight, inspiration, and practical growth. There are multiple options we have here for Mercer County Schools. The event takes place on November the 19th, 2025, from 8:45 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Granada Theater in Bluefield, West Virginia. Level 1 is an investment of $2,500. It provides 20 general admission tickets, logo placement in the promotional materials, and leadership game or lunch and learn professional development session. Level 2 is an investment of $1,500, 10 general admission tickets, logo placement, and level 3 is an $880 investment, which is a $20 general admission ticket, 20 general admission tickets. Is there any desire to participate, and if so, at what level?
I'd like more explanation.
Okay,
Don't really understand.
Mr. Taman?
Mr. Hodges, Mike McClanahan is doing those leadership trainings with us and through with the Maxwell training. If you see the handout, there's some advertisements out there, but he has John Maxwell. They'll be doing some, they'll be on video. So there's a set of leaders. Did you get that in the packet, the set of leaders that'll be speaking virtually? And then he has several local leaders, including he selected me to speak also, but he has Mike will be speaking, Christian Prucell, Marvin Woody, and Dr. Darren Martin will be the local speakers that will be live. And then he has a list of Jesse Cole, who does the Banana Baseball League, and John Maxwell, and it will have also Anthony Trucks, Tiffany Bova. There's a whole list of leadership going on, and that was a package that he presented. You all brought that to us to do the leadership, and here again, he wanted a chance to for me to approve this, and I thought it's the best way to bring it to you to approve the package that we want to do for Mercer County
But
Schools.
who's this for? Is it?
Well, some of
The
our people
prices,
would
the
attend, I
prices
guess
of
for
tickets
leaders,
are
right?
really, really high. Surely
Well, they're
it's
not really high when you look at that.
You get 20
There's 70
people
bucks
for
if you get
20.
online and do that. There's different discounts, but again, that's the pleasure of you all if you want us to do that.
So we're buying those prices for 20 tickets for our
Well, the
people.
first one
Well,
is 20 tickets.
the first
and
one is
second
20
one is
tickets, and then
10
we'll figure
tickets.
out who, you know, we have those trainings going on, plus also, Ms. Mitchell, Dr. Atkins may have some principles that would benefit out of that
So we're
day-long
choosing 20
situation.
people in Mercer County.
That's in the first packet, that's correct. And then there's a logo, and then a leadership game. He showed me this leadership game after the last. He'll come to our office and get us for lunch, and it's a pretty neat leadership game that he's going to put that in part of the package 1. Level 2 is a $1,500 or $1,790 value. He's for $1,500. There's 10 tickets plus the logo placement, and then level 3 again is $880 for 20 general admission tickets with no advertisement or nothing with the leadership there. So that's the rate that he asked me if I would authorize, and I thought since you all brought that to us, I'd bring that to you to support.
So you're not advocating any particular level, you're just leaving it?
You know what, it has been pretty good. We're at, we had session 4, I believe, and we have our follow-up next week. I think the last session was the best. It was very good for 2 hours. Those that, you know, again, we have some people that aren't able to attend with certain parts of their job, but again, we have 4 sessions. We got 2 more. I think everybody has gained something from that. One way, they do self-evaluation. They have, what is that called? Off the top of my head, the planning, the strategic planning that we do right at the beginning. Action plan for everybody. I have all those. I've collected all those, and it's been very beneficial. And I would, if you want a recommendation, do you want one, sir?
It wouldn't hurt, but the leadership game, it's a lunch, and it's for, how many people is the leadership game involved?
You know, that's a great question. I don't have that.
Can we
how-
pack the McTack and,
You know, we'll try if we could do lunch over here and all the things going on. I think absolutely. Or whether he'd come into the you know, we have the 3, the follow-ups after the training are 3 sessions, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10. And they're 55 minutes, sometimes an hour and 5, and groups out in the hallway. But he does the feedback, and we discuss what the options there.
let me ask it this way. You had authority to authorize this as training for the staff, but you chose to bring it to us. So what are you recommending in spite of all that?
I would recommend 1, level
Okay.
1 is my recommendation, if you want my recommendation.
So, looking at it without a packet saying exactly, you all know more about, obviously, we do. Would it be, are there certain teacher groups that would, value this training more, so like?
If you as a board look at different ones, what leaders, I didn't come up with how we're gonna pick 20. You know, there's other ways to do that. I had a young man that texted me Bless his heart, he wanted to know, can I skip school and attend this, Mr. Toma? And I said, boy, you'd have to bring that up with your principal and your parents. But he is a leader in our community, a young man that's a sophomore, and he would love to attend. I don't know this, I'd have to talk to Mike on that if it's students are able
I
to.
know who that is. He's gonna be an active adult. I know who you're talking about.
This is a good
It's either
debate. I
level
enjoy
one or,
this.
it's either level 1 or level 3, because, I mean, 2, you only get 10 general admission tickets, but 1 and 3, you get 20.
So what do we get for that extra money on 1 that we don't get on
The
Well,
lea-
you-
the
you got
leadership
you got the
training.
app.
Another train,
The
well,
leadership.
Oh,
it's a
another-
game, but it's
another-
a training session.
another
Private
training
leadership.
Yeah, it's right in
training.
there, yes, sir.
It's a private
I'm
training
comfortable with
session.
number 1.
I still like to know who's
20, I can put it back and say, board, you tell me what 20 you want.
Been through it, I have. I
Well,
don't know.
we have a whole group. I would talk to my leadership team, say, who do we want? And I'm wide open for it.
I kinda
So
like
I
to see
know,
some of our
Could
I
you
know
put
my
a-
ticket doesn't count.
Could you put anybody that wants to go, give us a reason?
But our business teachers wouldn't.
It's leading individuals
Yeah.
as in a team.
That's it. And I received this offer right after our last session. He caught me afterwards and said, what do you think? And that's why I thought Mike, can you wait till I take this to the board? He's ready to advertise. You see it on WVVA, it's on Facebook. There's advertisements out there of it, so I don't know.
So the idea is to train better leaders, is that it?
I would believe so. And you
That's-
guys
yeah,
authorized this
that's
from the beginning,
leadership
so that's the
training,
max.
right.
That's my
It's generated from the Maxwell, leadership, John Maxwell training.
Kind of more of what we're already doing.
Yes.
But Mike McClanahan's the one who is organizing this local event.
And I think it's throughout the country, I believe, because they're gonna be live streamed at
Yeah.
other places, so
But
since he's
doing the
part of
local
that,
one.
and he's
Yeah.
part of that, he's offering it here in Mercer County at the Bluefield Granada.
Gotcha.
Great questions, I like
Is there
this.
a motion?
I make a motion, we approve level 1.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Then on the motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. That motion carries 4 in favor and none opposed. I would think you would talk to your leadership team in central office and see who out in the buildings would benefit.
Sure. I thought of that, and I briefly talked with Mrs. Mitchell and Dr. Atkins about that, what we look at with the 20, maybe they could do something, we did some trips, and how could somebody do something, when we did other activities, I have no idea how we want to do that.
Okay, well,
We looked at how many, attended certain events, how many did all 4, who did whatever, we thought of some ideas there, but again, if it's Leslie's department, her leadership there, I'd want to know who she thought would be a part of that, or it would be her, or whatever, I think put it in those things from
Okay.
Mrs. Huddle, from Mr. Atkins, all of them here, so.
okay. Board memo number 180 is budget supplements and transfers for the months of July, August, September, and October of '25.
I want to pivot real quick, when I do that Monday morning update, and I send that out there about our calendar, what's going on, I have several people say, can we attend your sessions that we have over here? I've had other people asking.
Oh, about
"You
the
guys just
leadership
sent that-"
sessions?
Yes, you just
Yeah.
sent that to the central office, so.
Right.
And I've had several want to, can they come?
You're talking about staff members of facilities, or?
From anywhere, from.
Well, we can always look into next year about what we want to do.
Yeah, but I know you had a cap on how many people were
Right.
for that training.
Okay, so budget transfers for that period of time are $2,497,537.08. Supplements are $30,312,611.60. Superintendent recommends approval of the budget supplements and transfers. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Questions, comments, or discussion? Then on the motion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. That motion carries 4 in favor and none opposed. All right, this one's a little interesting. So, board member number 181 is a necessity in terms of compliance with West Virginia Code and House Bill 3166. We are required to create a standardized school safety mapping data for all school facilities. Administrators and local law enforcement met to review the potential providers and received a presentation from two, Critical Response Group and Geocom. Following the presentation and discussion, it was determined CRG was the best, which is Critical Response Group, that met the best statutory and technical requirements. Under state policy, we can make purchases without bidding if they are in a competitive or if they're in a legitimate government purchasing cooperative, which this organization is. Pricing was requested under the cooperative, and the total cost for the school is $101,784.96, which is funded by a state grant. Pricing was also requested for buildings not included in the grant: central office, transportation, maintenance, warehouse locations. The total cost for these is $12,722.12. Superintendent recommends approval for both, that we do mapping program from Critical Response Grant Group in the amount of a total amount of $114,508.08. The school locations, as I said, is paid for by grant. The administrative buildings were paid for by the excess levy. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, but I got.
Okay, well, that's, I mean,
He
just
wants
get
a
it on the
motion.
floor.
He wants a motion then.
So we can get it on the floor and talk about it. All right, so, go ahead.
Explain it better to me. Is it like
Mr.
mapping
Mr.
for
Hodges.
escape routes and so
It's for
forth?
security.
So
Yeah, but
the legislature
that's
passed,
just a general term.
All
I
right.
like more detail.
we send you this packet also, so if you have any questions individually, yell at me or call me and I'll go over it. But we had a great meeting with all our, and Ms. Wellman can piggyback on this, but her group put out the bids. We had those meetings. We had state police, Princeton PD, sheriff's department, Bluefield, everybody involved.
Yeah, I
And
saw
we had
that.
two presentations. What's that?
I said I saw all that.
Okay. So two presentations on what we have to do. This is by state code and by the legislature that we have to do this by next September of 27, 26. And we have to have this done, the mapping, they have that. Our law enforcement, I had my opinion when they all came in, but again, after the presentations, it was amazing. We were, I would say 99% all in favor of this group. And the police thought, the law enforcement thought was the best, that they thought what they used in the military, it was perfect for them. So it's a mapping. Anybody else wants to add? I know
Well,
Mr. Atkins has been involved with
what-
some of that.
What
Sir.
you've done is try to convince me to vote for it, which I'm already on board for that. I'm just ignorant. I don't know what you
He
mean
just wants
exactly by
more
mapping.
explanation of what it is.
Sure,
Please.
sure.
Right in front of
And
you.
it's everything from,
So
basically,
basically, they take our blueprints and they kind of position them in a grid system. So they're going to map out and match the blueprints and create a drawing. And they create a grid system that is identifiable so that if there's a call or an emergency in the school,
You know where to find it.
everyone knows where to find it. So this would be, it's kind of like a spreadsheet to me. It's rows and columns. And this gentleman actually was in the Special Forces, and he said this is how we communicated in the Special Forces so that everyone's on the same page. Instead of saying, go to the building with the green roof, we're going to go to section C and C2 so that everyone knows where we're going.
really like, they'll grade it out like Battleship, Mr. Hodges.
Yes, yes.
It will be
Oh, like
like,
Battleship.
here's where we're at,
Battleship.
here's where
That
we're
makes
at.
sense.
You
You never played
That's actually
Battleship?
I don't play any games. I'm old-fashioned.
That's an old-fashioned
That's
board
old-fashioned.
game. That is
Oh, is
old-fashioned.
it really?
Battleship is old-fashioned.
I played Pollyanna.
Thank you.
It's like you put your peg in the battleship.
Mr. Godfrey has a question for you.
No, you did not.
I
Absolutely.
bet Nancy can play Battleship.
You got it. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly
It's
what it is.
everything, and,
How old are you?
Same age as your daughter? We
Well,
figured that
but
out.
Tracy may have played
I mean
it.
Tracy, not
Yeah,
Nancy.
okay.
I meant Tracy.
Who do you think you said?
Sorry, I meant Tracy. I was just saying that.
You have to exit the building, different scenarios, we did that, but the idea then was to bring law enforcement in to actually physically look at the buildings, and that took place.
So this map, this gentleman will load this software on all of the police devices, and it works with 911, so that when they have an emergency at Princeton Senior High, everyone's looking at this same map. And, you know, if cell phone signal, they can pinpoint the cell phone signal or a fire alarm. So, and that was one of the huge benefits from this company, is they work directly with law enforcement, and our law enforcement was really impressed with that.
One of the kickbacks that stuns and lots for me is who these maps are available to and the plan.
It's very
Because
secure.
These are tailor-made for, I hate to say it, an active shooter to know what your plan is, so they can plan it for you.
These will be owned by us after this is complete. They will be loaded directly onto those devices, so they will not have access to.
No public
No,
access.
no.
As opposed to saying, when Gray had a basketball game at Timberwood, and I said, Penny, you see all those numbers on the windows? I said, that's so the police know, or the fire knows which window to go in. But this is so much more beneficial, and again, we really don't have an option here because we've got to comply with state law.
Right.
But it regardless, it's not,
Seems like
they're
it.
paying for it.
That's my question, so, other than the, maintenance warehouse, those transportations, it's already paid for.
It will be. If we complete this, we, as Mr. Toman said, we have to bid it or purchase on a co-op, and then we'll submit that to the WVDE.
Good. Did that answer all your questions?
She did.
That's what we're here for.
And it was House Bill 3166.
You can relate.
It's House Bill 3166 that was adopted, and we have to have it by September 1 of 2026. And,
And we're gonna beat that deadline.
yeah, and we're funded $4,500 per school and all the requirements there. But we had a great turnout, and it's very good. I'm also working with law officers and all our from the EMTs and all that. We've been meeting. We have 2 meetings so far with Keith Gano chairing that. But we're meeting about doing some practice on certain facilities, but I just don't want to announce that out loud.
Sure.
Oh,
publicly.
sure.
Yeah,
I
you
do
don't,
have one last question. If it's being paid, not we as a taxpayer, I don't say we at this point, and whenever a red flag went up for me when you said we're ahead of it. So have they done this at other schools, or are we guinea pigs?
No, they're all required. It's
they're in a
required.
lot of
Join it.
schools.
I understand that, but everyone's using this.
So
Yeah, there's-
this company, I think there were
Probably
19.
20, yeah, 20 people.
19 or 20 counties.
The other company
using
had
this
about
company.
4.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, like
I
2
just never
people
played
have
it.
them, and you say
Do you
like,
have any assurance
hey,
that
hey,
they
can you
fix the
see if
problem?
you're trying to guess what the other person.
Yes, they said they'd take care of it. And then they re-upload all the documents to the agencies so that any changes, like say we add a new egress door, they make the changes, we have to pay a little fee each time. We make the changes and then they re-upload it. and
Yeah, I
everything's
can
good.
bring it.
And I think one of the key things
I
too,
can see
that
that, hadn't it?
they orient every school to the north so that it gives you it's clear, it's, you hate to say foolproof, but it's dumbed down so that the next guy who picks it up can read that and understand Battleship was invented in 1967.
There we go, yeah, that worked
Yeah.
out then, yeah.
And,
I was deprived.
yeah, well, that's okay. But that was, and that was one of the questions Brent asked a lot, was if we do updates, what can we do? And also where we own them too, we can go back in and we can create data files, like he can label things differently, or I can do piping or HVAC conduit, whatever we're doing, I can overlay on those maps too for us, and we can manipulate them ourselves.
Awesome. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Then on the motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed likewise. The motion carries 4 in favor and none opposed. I was, as I'm apt to do sometimes, just sitting and ruminating in my house, and it dawned on me that one way to honor Kim Miller is to name the gym, do a memorial for her. And so I asked Jim Bailey to check and see if it had been honored for anybody, because you don't do that twice. And it hadn't been. And then he said, what do you think about it, just a plaque? And I said, no, we need to do what Montcalm did and put her signature on the floor. Because it's just so nice to walk in there and see that. You can't miss it. It's not a little plaque that you might walk by. You see it, it's there, and it's right in front of you. So, something like this, I think policy requires the board to do. I don't think we can just do it without board approval. So, I doubt I'm going to get any objection here, and I know
No
Jim is
questions
all
on
for
this one. I
it.
understand
Jim's
the
making
position.
a motion and a second in the abstention, I know. Because he did all the footwork to check. So what I'd like is not just that we do the memorial, but that we direct the type of memorial we want, so it's clear. And then the superintendent can do what he needs to do to get it done. And then, of course, we would want to have a ceremony.
Sure.
With the family and the community. So
you're asking for a motion?
I am.
Move we approve it.
Second.
All right. There's a motion and a second, and based on all that, I think it's going to pass pretty quickly here. On the motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. That motion carries 4 in favor, none opposed. It's a very appropriate thing, and I think it's a nice way to
Nice gesture.
remember her in perpetuity. All right, I have to excuse myself for the next agenda. My daughter Jenna is on there, and she's going to be paid for it.
And one new item on there also on your new
Yes.
agenda, if you wanted to find out where that
Okay,
was,
well,
I can tell you.
I'll let you talk to everybody else, because I got to go.
Gotcha.
I'll be back in just a minute.
So if you want to pull out your addendum to the personnel agenda we got tonight, you want to point out what's additional
Yes, ma'am.
or change?
To the best of my knowledge, Charles Atkins, it's on page 6, is
Okay.
the new addition that Dr. Philipek added, that she mentioned to me, and she had plans, she could not be here tonight, and I told
Okay.
her we were good to
Special
move forward. But
education
otherwise,
aid.
I think that's it, and one name wasn't brought that's on your computer, but it's not in this list too, but it was a blank. It's in a computer, but that doesn't need to, there's no name to it, so.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the personnel agenda? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passes 3 and 1 not voting.
That's correct. And there's Mr. Prudich coming back in.
Yep.
I thought about bolting for the truck, and then I remembered all my stuff was sitting in here.
No such luck.
Okay. That is the last action item on the agenda. So we are at discussion. Mr. Timer, the greenhouse update.
I have, Mrs. Mitchell has looked into that, and also we have Ms. Stone in the back and Mr. Atkins. But Mrs. Mitchell, any update on the greenhouse for the board members? They're walking out here.
Yes, sir. There is, and Mr. Atkins and Ms. Stone and I met last week and went over some of the things that needed to be done and where we were with it. And so Mr. Atkins, because he's been involved since the very beginning of it, he can report out probably better than I can. Ms. Stone can tell you of some things that they've done, but what I can tell you is that in the last month, we have got power now to the greenhouse, and we have a water line put in. So from that, I'm going to let Mr. Atkins and Ms. Stone go over specifically what's going on.
She's a nervous wreck for some reason. I'll take care of it. No, I mean, currently we have a quasi-functioning greenhouse. Talked to Hank today. I have one electrician. I don't know if you know, but I've only had 2 since June. I've had 1 out. They started in the summer on the electrical. We set the outdoor unit, had it inspected, and the inspector, AEP never got notification that the inspector had inspected and passed the outdoor service, so they never came to connect. However, in the meantime, it was so hot in there this summer, when Harley and Hank would go to work on it, it was about 100 degrees by about 9 o'clock. So it was producing the heat like it should have, but it was so hot at one point in time, it even melted the conduit that was in there that we were storing to run the power line. Nonetheless, Hank said he believes all the outlets will be functioning tomorrow by the end of the day if we don't have any emergencies. Probably would have been done today, but only had one electrician today. We did have a few hiccups with the company who erected the, we're not exactly certain if there was some issues. We're trying to sort through if it was done 100% the wet to code or what the building called for per the specs of the company that we bought it from. As you can see through the pictures, students are using it. They have been using it for a while. It's evolved like a lot, like Miss Rosemary said there a few minutes ago. They've had a lot of class meetings outside. They have built a lot of tables. They're doing a lot of that. I mean, this is a teaching greenhouse. This isn't a commercial production greenhouse. Nowhere near the scope of what is here at McTech. But the space is already being utilized. It's just not to 100% capacity at this time. We have to try to figure out how we're going to put the exhaust system in. We have some ideas, but the fact of the matter of freeing up time for HVAC guys to get over there to help the electricians to get it all framed up and get it operational is pretty tough. But we've been really working hard on it for about a month and a half, and we think that so far so good. We're hesitant on the exhaust fan. It's huge. Brent has has a greenhouse at his home, and he said that fan is really, really big for that space. But nonetheless, we'll get it installed, and it should be operational. We had an open trench a month ago, and that was for our conduit and finishing line. And I had to call AEP because I wasn't even aware that it wasn't connected yet. And but we've been on it, and it's serving its purpose. Not at 100%, but it's serving its purpose currently.
What questions do you have? I'm just here to answer any questions or clarify anything.
Are we putting a slab in this thing? Or are we just
A
gonna
slab of what?
concrete?
No, Ernie Morgan was the expert on this, and the floors replicate to the 14 greenhouses at Hurley's with the gravel and the fabric over the top. So that was he kind of spearheaded that component of it. And then that's also what Jason Brunswick from Farm Tech recommended.
What do we have here?
Gravel with fabric.
Okay.
I thought the same thing with concrete too. So that's when Ernie was like, no, that's not what you do.
Okay.
Well, it helps too with moisture, humidity. It's more of a natural environment when you don't have concrete in.
So what is left to be done?
Well,
Exhaust fans
yeah,
and
so
heater.
The exhaust fan, we couldn't figure out. Mr. Morgan, he retired, but in the spring he was like, I know there's some exhaust fans that came with this. I just don't understand, and so we're going through it and we can't figure it out. So I contacted Jason Brunswick. He's at Farm Tech, and you have to buy all this stuff through the co-op. That's Miss Wellman's expertise. So anyway, so he said, why don't you go take some pictures for me and send them back to me? And so we did that, and then he emailed back and he said, Beth, I don't think the builders included that. I know, well, they're not in there. This is what this is and this is what that is. And your builders didn't finish, and then there's some parts laying around that shouldn't be. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then we go into the scope of looking at what was in the bid, and that's something we still have to comb over to see if that was in there. It's not in there. Okay. So what Mr. Atkins had came up with, because we're like, how are we going to get these in here with how big they are? And so you were throwing around some ideas with some platforms, and then talked to Mr. Brent about it, and just trying to makeshift, because it's just not going to be conducive to take apart and redo it with that.
We just got to do some structural framing, like some unistrut probably, and just make sure. Obviously a fan of that size, we can't just have it vibrating in there. We got to have it secure. So that's my main concern about it. And then we will have to do some. We have a propane heater, which we have propane on site, but we'll just have to tee off of it and come over to the greenhouse.
Other questions from anybody? Okay, thank you all. You don't even want me to bring it up, do you? After our disaster last time, I don't want to bring it up either, but
We can.
with the cost of utilities continuing to rise almost weekly, the solar installation credit expires soon, and if we're going to do it, the only way we can practically do it is as soon as possible. to get the benefit of the break on utilities. Is there any desire to look into it again? I mean, it's a load for staff, so if we're gonna do it, we need to be serious about it and not just say, oh, well, okay, well, maybe. How many schools, do you recall how many schools we had last time, either of you?
Hang on, I've been talking to a guy again about this.
Okay.
I restarted the conversation with one of the same companies this year.
Okay.
He has some documentation from Uriah, basically outlining how RFP would work for this. Kind of some of the questions we had in the beginning, because we were just kind of feeling our way through. I think he had Calhoun County was the only one who had done it previously. I think there's 10 or 11 schools that I identified that we could probably use those locations. He's trying to come back. He wanted me to set a meeting last week for Leslie and Ed and myself, and I told him I didn't feel comfortable making a meeting for the superintendent and the treasurer, but he sent out an email just to start. He kind of gave us a breakdown of what he thought we would be off of the last time I gave him information. I didn't give him this year's power bills. I have them now. Marcia did them for me last week, but that's kind of where we are in the process. But he has a better understanding now of the West Virginia laws and procedures, and we do have to start by spring, at least by spring, to get into the big beautiful bill and into it. It's the company too that also could get us the Intuit grant of $150,000, and they're still offering that to us as well. So
Okay.
it's going to be, I mean, me being, if there's any drawback to it, it's going to take a lot of my time, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's one of my goals too, is to work on energy savings. So.
Well, it's just one of those things that you look at and just this past week, I had it, it's funny, they're going door to door now. Had somebody at my front door, young man, bang, bang, bang. Have you seen my company? No, give me a second. I Googled it. It's a legitimate company. I said, no, this is a different one. And they sent a nice young lady into my house, and they're telling me, for the next 5 years, I have no expense. Just pay them a monthly bill. That's all I got to do, which is less than what AEP just hit me with this month. And he said it'll be less than that for the next 5 years. What I'm currently paying AEP. Well, we know in the next 5 years it's going to go up. This is just my house. And so my issue is where they want to put some panels. I'm not sure it'll hold the weight. So I've got to get somebody to tell me that. But the more I looked at it and more I thought about it, I thought, what was our electric bill, $2 million something a year? And if that goes up just 3 or 4% a year in 5 years, that's 15% increase. That's a lot on $2 million charge.
I just found the email too. It's 7 schools. It's 7 schools, not 11. Yes.
Okay. That wouldn't include Timberwood. They would have looked at Brushfork and Bluewell then, but now we've got Timberwood.
I had a conversation with him. We had a meeting,
Okay.
and I told him, well, we weren't going to do it on those schools anyway, because the age, and we were closing them. But
You could
Timberwood
maybe
is
do
one
it
of the schools on
Timberwood
the
and add
list.
that one, right? Possibly add Timberwood to make it.
Yes, it's one of the ones on the
Make
list.
8 schools.
Because it would, if we save 5% on our utility bill, that's 5% we're not spending on utilities.
Correct.
That's, somebody quick tell me 5% of $2 million. Come on, somebody.
100,000.
There's somebody
100,000.
with a calculator with them.
5%, 2 million, 100,000.
I want to say 100,000.
It is.
10%.
10%.
That's a teacher position, isn't it? Well, not completely, but a new teacher, teaching position. Custodian for sure. Right.
Yeah, sure.
But, so the question then becomes, is it worth the time? I mean, that's why we need to talk to them and find out what kind of savings we can actually see. Because I worry about the continual growth of the power bill, and with this legislation that's being proposed by a gentleman that's going to force 67% coal, it's going to continue to rise. There's just no way around it. So You want to do that in executive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just wanted to talk about it and see where we could go with that and see if we wanted to investigate. So I guess we should investigate that.
Investigate.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So,
No other administrative updates, I don't believe.
yeah, I
from
think
our-
we've hit everybody. So we need to do an executive session for the purchase of property. So do I have a motion to approve?
We're good.
Second.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
Are you gonna have everybody go, or are we gonna go?
Everybody's gonna leave. For the public, so you're aware, we're gonna have an executive session. It won't last very long. It's about the purchase of real estate. And then we will come back out of executive session and adjourn. There are no other action items on the agenda. So we can go in executive session now.
I got you. Get it. I got it.
It's gonna
I'll
take
close it
long
up.
or not?
No. we are back from executive session to discuss a property matter, and we are prepared to adjourn. Mr.
Move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection? Good night, everybody.
I got that one. Send her more.
I don't, you can give it to Mark, it's fine.
Over here like a director of a movie.
He was ready, yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you all.